the other team in the Keystone State that lost this past weekend.
Got their asses whooped.
Arguably, the Steelers and the Eagles might have had the two worst losses in the league this week. PA, really not a good showing.
Yeah, but thank God yours got talked about more.
And rightfully so.
I could at least go on social media and watch SportsCenter without being reminded about how bad my loss is. Like
Yeah.
it must have been brutal for you for the past 48 hours, just being like, God,
fair.
can we just get over this? I
mean, yeah, I see people like Stephen A. Smith saying it like delegitimizes the NFC Championship.
Dude, that was
no.
That was way out of pocket. Like I saw him say that, and I was about to tag you, and I was like, "Now we're gonna talk about it on the show." Yeah, dude, that was way out of pocket.
So that logic, but with that logic, the Eagles are the Super Bowl champs because they just beat the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. So,
yeah, and but like it made me think of Judson Birch when he would come to our comm classes at Penn State, the ESPN guy. And people were like, "Oh, I hate Kendrick Perkins." It was like, "Why do you hate Kendrick Perkins?" Like, "Oh, his takes are like wild and whatever." And he's like, "Well, what's one take that you hate?" And he's like, "Oh, when he said, oh, this." And he was like, "You saying that makes me want to give Kendrick Perkins more money because you remembered it and whatever." And so that's why I like. And I'm like, well, that's when I saw that take. I'm like, that's just a classic. We want rating sort of take. There's no way Stephen A. actually would sit down and like actually believe that, bro. Like that is. We're talking about regular season and playoff games, bro. Like, I get it was a bad loss, but come on.
Yeah. Definitely a bad loss. Yeah, even all one up you. Did you see David Carr today saying that that the Eagles need to bench Jalen Hurts and start Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, they like need to have a serious conversation about it. Like, are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? And his whole reason was because he got all that money and wants to like be in like his best whatever. It's like, have you like never met an athlete like ever in your life? Like, when would they ever be like, oh yeah, I'm not playing that well and I'm also kind of hurt. Let me like sit out when like my team needs me the most because it'd be better later down the road. Be like, that made zero sense to me. And you're going to start Marcus Mariota?
Did you see how bad he was last year? Even in the preseason.
Yeah, like...
But, yeah.
I mean, no offense. I love them on QB1, but Marcus Mariota is just not... Like, that was, yeah, two wild takes about that.
It's just got... This game's got these media folks wild in this week.
This is what I hate, like, sometimes, though. Like, I told you, I said it on the show. I said 49ers run the NFC, and that happened. Like, that game happened, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly kind of how I thought. But also, I told you on the show that the Eagles kind of needed to lose this game, mostly because like they kind of just needed a slap in the face. You know, it's kind of like when when you're kind of goofing off with your friends in the classroom. But you've kind of been doing it for so long, and the teacher like finally gets you and pulls you out in the hallway and kind of like yells at you for a little bit. Like, you kind of need that because then it sharpens your skills for the next time. Like, I literally just watching the Kelsey documentary. I was talking to you before. They said, like, one of the announcers said, sometimes like you play games and you figure out ways to win, and sometimes you lose games and you figure out ways of which you win in that, which is like, this isn't going to work. We're going to do some things the other way. And I think this is like one of those games that the Eagles needed to lose. Plus, it makes for a better storyline because they're 100% going to meet again in the NFC Championship. And everyone's going to be like, well, 49ers spanked them earlier. How's it going to fare this time around? Doesn't help in like the 1 seed implications, but I do think that conversation ends. I don't think it really matters who wins the home field or not, because 49ers prove that they can win there. And Lincoln Financial was loud. Like, it was loud there when it was a game. So, but I called it, man. I called it.
I'll give it to you. Although I wasn't wrong. I did say that the Eagles would win, but I had my concerns.
Yeah. You sprinkled in information so you could come back and say, well, if we did lose, I did say this, but let's not beat around the bush, though.
No, I said the Eagles would win, but I mean, shit, I didn't even put any money on this like money line straight because deep down I was like, shit, I feel like
Oh,
we could lose this game.
I hedged the heck out of it, bro. I threw $20 on 49ers money line before the game started to win 45. And
Oh,
then at
nice.
halftime, I threw $10 on the Eagles to win 42 and
Oh,
50.
there you
So
go.
no matter what of the outcome, I mean, it was only $12 win, but that's like you tell me you're watching the second half of a football game with no matter what, you're gonna win money. It was amazing.
That's yeah. There you go.
You know what
$12 is $12.
you know what the best part of that was? I threw all $45 of that winnings on the Chiefs money line.
Ouch.
Yeah. So all
Tough
meant
one.
nothing.
Tough
But
one.
I will say I was wrong because I was expecting a big game from Kittle and McCaffrey. McCaffrey still got his, but it was the Mr. Trash Talk of them all that beat y'all up. Debo Samuel um, spoke a lot of words and backed it up with a lot of action against Shaw. What do you have? Like 2 total touchdowns, 130 some
No, he
yards.
had three. He had
Oh, he
three.
had 3 touchdowns.
He had seven touches. I think for like 138 and like 3 touchdowns. Dude backed it up.
Let me see.
Like I think
Yeah.
is
4
that right?
receptions, 116 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 of them are receiving. He had 3 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown.
Yep. On there, right?
And McCaffrey, for what it's worth, still had 103 total yards and a touchdown. And I mean, Kittle still got me 10 fantasy points. But I will say, when I was watching the game, so I was watching with some coworkers. Half of them are Phillies fans, half of them are like whatever, and one of them's a 49ers fan. And I was, chatting with the 49ers guy. And as I keep watching the 49ers, I look at Brandon Ayuk and I almost picture him as like what the Bills thought Gabe Davis would be or like should be. Like Brandon Ayuk is so consistent, always there for third down, like seems to be wide open, always comes up in big plays, makes terrific catches and scores touchdowns. Like Gabe Davis like shows flashes of that every week or whatever, but like Ayuk, man, like almost gets hidden in
Yeah.
this that talented offense that San Francisco has. But that was just one player that I just loved kind of watching during that game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ayuk's a beast. I mean, I think Gabe Davis is. It just comes down to the route tree. Like Gabe Davis can't. Like he's just like a street
Yeah.
guy. Maybe like an in. Like maybe like a weak dig. Um, Ayuk's got the whole tree like on the back of his hand. He's excellent route runner. I mean, he's got great hands, and he's a number one. Like he's a number one. He's a number one wide receiver. And I mean, that first touchdown was pretty nice. But yeah, I said it, man. Those weapons, I was worried they were going to be too much for that Eagles defense, and it was. They started off the game a little strong. I say that very weakly, but then Brock Purdy got into a rhythm. And say what you want about Brock Purdy, he's got all the talent surrounding him in the world, but the dude always makes the right read, and he always
Mm-hmm.
makes the right throw, always makes
Mm-hmm.
the right play. And he gets it to Debo, he gets it to CMC. Like I mean, he puts it on the money. Like three, you said it, the third down conversions to Ayuk, like 2 or 3 right on the money, just where Ayuk could get it. He made the plays he had to make, and Niners backed it up, man.
He
They did. Now
he
that's
almost he like reminds me of Tom Brady in that way, and I hate to give Brock Purdy that praise, but like almost kind of like plays like him too, like short little
yeah,
slant, but he just always makes the right play, and like then I feel like he almost gets that hatred that like Tom Brady did, where like he's not like the most flashy. He's not gonna like run it up on you. He's not gonna like throw deep ass bombs down the field, but he's gonna march down and score touchdowns, um, and do it quite efficiently, and do it multiple times during the game. So I almost see that, and I hate to make that like comparison because I'm not really like a huge Brock Purdy guy, but like I can't hate on what I'm seeing. Like, yeah, all the talents in the world, but there's a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, my quarterback can't do that. You can't throw Kenny Pickett in the 49ers and expect him to be that good. Like, I just don't think that's happening.
Yeah, but man, it was a final score 42-19. I mean, Birds got the doors beaten off him, but I don't think there was like 2 times not going for it on 4th and 2, down 28-13.
That was a long 4-2.
It was, but you've been aggressive all year.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
defense wasn't stopping shit all day.
It's true.
And look, they scored Debo again, and then that essentially put the game away. Well, then the onside kick with like 5 minutes left, 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute one. I thought that was kind of dumb. Which brings me to the point that I think coaching needs to. I hope coaching is not. I think the talent is outplaying the coaching right now. The offense, pretty boring, pretty unpredictable, and then the defense, the linebackers obviously were an issue. Like I said, like
Well,
Nick,
you got some help there.
we did, which I'll touch on Shaq in a minute, but there was no man. This defense is best in man, and for some reason they played zone, especially on Sunday against a team like the Niners. Like, and then you got like when you do play man, you got like Nick Morrow like covering like it's a clear wheel route, and he's covering like Christian McCaffrey. Like just Shaq Leonard, he is great at stopping the run, great tackler, almost never miss a tackle, decent in coverage, but he's smart. Like that's the biggest thing for me is I think it gives the Eagles a leader in the middle of the field, and it's something, especially after what happened on Sunday. And it's another reason that I think, not saying it, I think the Eagles and the 49ers will definitely meet again. We'll see. Not saying the Eagles are going to get it done, but I think it will be different. It's not going to be. It's not good. It won't be the same.
Yeah,
definitely will be the same. But they proved themselves. Like they talked their shit and they backed it up. So I'll give it to them. They got this round, but
well, they had that game circled for so long.
exactly.
I mean, I'm sure the Eagles did too, but there was just something more for the 49ers there.
Yeah, and it's Dallas week for the Birds.
Big week.
Sunday night. I think it's a great bounce back spot. Like you said, lost, kind of got punched in the face. I think, hopefully, everyone takes a long look in the mirror and regroups. And it's tough that it's at Jerry World. Tough that it's at Jerry World, but they have all the talent in the world to get it done. It's just, will they execute? I don't know.
We'll see. Big game.
We'll see. We'll see. Goddard's close to returning too, which is a big part of the offense. It just doesn't look the same without him. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It hasn't looked good since he's been out. But